What is up, everybody? My name is Pierce, also known as P Money, P Dog, Pusha P, PP, King Pierce, Kid Marvelous. Shit, I'm a luchador too every fucking Saturday. Yes, sir. I bet you didn't know that. They call me Empeñada. You know, the belt belongs to nobody. 10 fights in a row. Look at me now. Look at me now. 10 fights in a row. Hell yeah. I had to pull out the Leon impression because, I have some fans of that. Proper fight, all that. All right, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. But today we got Contender Series Week 6 predictions and betting tips. And overall, the card itself, it's a very tricky card in my opinion. A lot of dogs, I think, are very live, and we will get into that. Starting with the first fight of the night, we have Alex Morgan versus Blake Bilder. All right, we'll start with Alex Morgan. So, he's a TriStar product with Faraz Zahabi and company up in Canada. So, he's overall a very good fighter. I mean, he has a lot of experience. If you look back at his record, he has fought TJ Laramie twice, knocked him out both times. The first time around with TJ, bit of a early stoppage in my opinion, but overall he was able to time the right hand on TJ. I honestly think his jab 1-2 is probably his best weapons as shown in his fights. And one thing I've noticed with Morgan, he's not a high output fighter on the feet at all. He's more of like a counter striker, I guess you would say. He likes to kind of put his jab up, but he's really just trying to read what you're doing. Very smart fighter. You can really tell he has a lot of fight IQ. So, the game plan for Alex Morgan is kind of just to piece you with that 1-2. Maybe look to set up some leg kicks as well. He's got some good low kicks, kind of push you up against the cage. But I mean, overall, he doesn't like wow me in regards to like finishing ability. He's not really much of a finisher unless your name's fucking TJ Laramie, who he's kind of owned him, man. But yeah, I mean, you look at this fight right here against Joao Luis Nogueira, kind of brought up some holes I believe I saw in Alex Morgan's game, which was the grappling defense. I mean, overall, it seems like he has a good understanding of how to defend himself on the ground. It's just like in the Nogueira fight, he was just put in positions against the cage. They are, yeah, pretty much just against the cage where he wasn't able to get Nogueira off of him. And then on the ground, I mean, he was smart defensively, but he didn't really offer much in terms of getting back up to his feet. And he kind of just wasted away minutes on the mat here. And then also you see on his record, he fought Charles Air Jourdain. That was I recommend you guys watch that back. It was a TKO title fight in 2018. But Charles Jourdain, yeah, that dude, he set up a fucking beautiful spinning back fist right into a guillotine. Very dynamic finish there by Charles Jourdain, who will see this coming weekend. But I mean, yeah, overall, he has fought a decent level competition in TKO. And that brings up his opponent, Blake Bilder, who, in my opinion, has not fought anywhere near the level of competition in regards to Alex Morgan. But I mean, Bilder, he's a very interesting fighter here. Both these guys are very up there in age, I guess. They're not really young prospects. They're more so in the prime of their career. We got, I believe, Bilder's 32. Morgan is 31. So we got Bilder here. I mean, Bilder, he's a solid, solid fighter. He's on the feet. I mean, his striking defense isn't necessarily the best. I mean, defensively, like he keeps a high guard. It's just like I've noticed in a lot of his fights, he does get like dropped and kind of chinned at moments, even though he hasn't lost by knockout. We see here in the Carvalho fight, he was fucked. He was taking a lot of damage in that fight, but that's kind of Bilder's best asset is actually his ability to roll with shots. Has great durability, not durability, but toughness. It's a very tough individual. He's very gritty. But I mean, on the feet, yeah, Bilder's gonna look to walk you down, kind of close the distance with his hooks, overhands. He's very powerful in his hands. He's dropped a couple fighters with his hooks, and I believe it was the Carvalho fight. If I recall, he dropped him with a left hook and was just able to ground and pound. He does have very aggressive ground and pound. And then in regards to Bilder's grappling, like I said, good ground and pound, but he's also very talented jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's very good at hopping on your back, snagging up submissions. I think I saw in the Buena Fuente fight, I believe he was going for some gogo platas there on multiple occasions. But I mean, he does have an aggressive guard off of his back. One thing I will say, he kind of likes to play off his back a little too much to my liking. But I mean, it's always nice to see him throwing up submissions on his back, keeping it active instead of just being complacent on the ground. But I don't think Alex Morgan's going to be the dude to try to grapple offensively. I think if anything here, Bilder should look to grapple because we have seen Alex Morgan, been grappled by superior grapplers in the past. But I mean, overall, this is a very difficult fight to break down, in my opinion. I mean, you got Bilder who potentially could have the grappling upside. I mean, on the feet, he's going to bring the fight to Morgan. It's just a matter of whether he can eat the shots because, in previous fights, Bilder has shown a questionable chin. Yet to be knocked out yet, but it's always a bit worrying here. I mean, we got Morgan. He's probably the more technical fighter on the feet by a good amount here. I mean, he's got that jab, that 1-2. He keeps it simple, keeps it smart. He has a great coaching team behind him in Faraz Zahabi. So, they're going to have a great game plan here against Bilder. But I mean, Bilder's going to force Morgan the fight. That's sometimes issues in Alex Morgan fights. He kind of likes to keep it slow and kind of a point fight. But yeah, Bilder's going to be in his face. He's going to force Morgan to commit on some of his shots. And I mean, this is a very fucking difficult fight to break down. I really don't have a confident opinion either way. And then we go to the odds. We have Blake Bilder plus 200, Alex Morgan coming in at minus 235. I mean, I get why Morgan's the favorite here. I mean, he has a large amount of experience in the game compared to Blake Bilder. But I mean, Blake Bilder just brings the fight to every single opponent he's faced. And I mean, honestly, considering Blake Bilder's fight style, I guess maybe I would lean to the under or the fight doesn't go to decision instead of picking a side here. But in regards to a prediction, give me the dog. We'll take plus 200 Blake Bilder, and I'll take him by rear naked choke. I think he's gonna maybe drop Alex Morgan, kind of like what Charles Jourdain did, and get the club and sub here. But I mean, I'm willing to be swayed off of Bilder. No strong opinion here. See what happens come Tuesday. But next fight, we have women's strawweight bout. We have Maria Silva versus Viktoriya Dudakova. So we'll start with Maria Silva, Hueva Negra, I think is how you say her nickname. But yeah, I mean, she's a solid fighter. She was actually, I think her last fight, I don't know it wasn't her last fight. It was 2 fights ago against Catherine Papraki. We saw her on Contender Series last year. And I mean, her performance, I mean, there's a reason probably why she didn't get signed. It wasn't a bad performance, it would so say, but it was a very boring one, I guess you could say. She was just able in the second and third round, especially to kind of just ride Catherine Papraki out on the ground. I mean, overall, her game, Maria Silva, she's more of I guess you would say, a Muay Thai fighter. She likes to kind of throw down in the pocket. She head movement wise, I don't think she has the best head movement, but she's very tough. She kind of you can tell she loves the scrap. Very powerful hooks in the pocket. She's definitely a threat for the knockout on the feet. And then in regards to her grappling, I mean, she's solid, very heavy on up when she does get on top. She does like to go for that body lock trip takedown. That's mainly her takedown of choice. But I mean, yeah, Maria Silva, she's a solid fighter, very physical girl for the weight class, and she's gonna bring the fight. I mean, I do worry about her defensively striking. She does not move her head at all. She has her hands down a lot. But I mean, in the women's strawweight division, there's only so many girls that are probably going to knock you out for having a bad striking defense that she's able to get away with it. But I mean, she's fought solid girls. You see, Ewelina Wozniak 6-0, Jayan Aguiar 6-0. I mean, not the worst competition, but I mean, women's MMA is kind of hard to tell how good a girl is just based off the record because records are very deceiving. But this is a very fascinating matchup here for Maria Silva and Viktoriya Dudakova. And it's pretty straightforward in my opinion. Viktoriya is more so a grappler. Her striking, I mean, she'll show like glimpses of some striking success outside of like maybe like blitzing girls with a 1-2 on the Russian regional scene. But I mean, her bread and butter is her fucking grappling 100%. I mean, in regards to her grappling, I mean, she really is more of like a upper body lock, trip takedowns type of girl as well. So both these girls here have similar approaches to the grappling. I mean, Dudakova's, I mean, she's solid. She's very slick, I will say, at jumping on the neck for the rear naked choke. You know, she'll get the choke synced in before she even gets her hooks in, and she's just able to run through a lot of her opponents on the mat. And then that's probably where the fight's going to play out. I mean, on the feet, got to go with Maria Silva here. I mean, she's by far probably the more technical striker, even though I don't think Maria Silva is that technical to begin with. But yeah, she's 100% the better striker. It's just a matter of whether Dudakova will be able to ground this fight. And for Maria Silva off of her back, I mean, I think Prep Rocky was able to get some top control, very minimal though. Silva would just muscle her way back up. But I mean, I'm very curious to see what Silva's like on her back because there really isn't too much tape of her on her back. So that does make this a very fascinating matchup here. And then we'll go to the odds because I believe, if I'm correct, Silva is a big favorite here. Yeah, we got Viktoriya Dudakova plus 215, Maria Silva minus 255. I mean, I get why you want to make Maria Silva the favorite. I mean, on paper, she's fought the better competition. You know, we've seen her on Contender Series. I mean, most of the time, I like to think if Dana and them are bringing back someone for the second time on Contender Series, they're normally bringing them in to win. But I mean, at plus 215, Viktoriya Dudakova, I know she's going to be at a big physicality disadvantage. That's probably the main reason why Maria Silva should win. But it's like there's so many question marks with her defensive grappling that I'm kind of willing to take the dog shot on Dudakova. I mean, we've seen in the past like women's MMA chalk is generally not the best to be putting a lot of money on. So I mean, what only so wrong you could go with Viktoriya Dudakova plus 215. But I mean, if I'm looking for a prop, Dudakova by submission. I don't know what that's going to open up at come Monday on Bet Online, but we will see. I'll maybe look to place a little sprinkle on that. Hopefully, Viktoriya Dudakova gets the submission. I'm going to go with Dudakova by rear naked choke. And that takes us to the next fight. I think we got the Polish dude. Yep. We have Mateusz Rebecki versus Hajigo Lidio. All right, so we'll start with Lidio. Yeah, what do you want me to fucking tell you about this guy? This dude has the fucking death touch. I will say that. Uh, it's pretty obvious what the fucking game plan is here for Lidio. He is looking to touch your chin, and most of the time, if he does land on your chin, you are fucking taking a nap. But I mean, I feel like it's pretty cut and dry what the game plan is here for the Polish guy Rebecki. He's gonna look to ground the fight here. I mean, Lidio. I'm probably butchering these names by the way. We'll say Rodrigo. Rodrigo has some fucking atrocious takedown defense. It's not good at all. Yeah, but you look at the measurables. He's fucking 33 years old. I mean, he's in his prime right now. But I mean, yeah, Lidio, not the best takedown defense. I'm gonna be straight up. A lot of the fights that he's in, it's more so he gets taken down. And I mean, he does a decent job working back up to the feet, but I mean, yeah, he'll sometimes. I guess you could say he's a fish off his back a little bit. But when he is on the feet, though, you have to fucking mind your P's and Q's because this dude comes to fucking kill on the feet. He's really good at timing his shots. You know, he's got a sneaky uppercut. I mean, a solid 1-2. Likes to honestly, he'll find the chin with any shot. Likes to occasionally throw some flying knees up the middle. So it's like you got to be prepared. And I mean, he does have the dev touch, but outside of getting the knockout, he's very limited. He's not the best minute winner at all. He's I think in most of his fights, Rodrigo has been losing until he's not. But I mean, got to give the dude credit. He has power in his hands, and if he lands on anybody, he can knock anybody out. It's that simple. And we have Mateusz Rebecki. He is a 29-year-old, 15-1 prospect out of Poland. And if I recall correctly, he is training out of American top team. So good camp for him to be at, not training in Poland. But I mean, yeah, this dude, he's a southpaw striker. Well, he's not really a striker. I feel like I think if I recall, he's an ADCC gold medal winner or something along the lines of that. I don't fucking know. But I mean, yeah, Rebecki, he has a lot of power in his hands, but I mean, the path to victory here is pretty fucking clear. Go for the takedowns. And then chances are he's probably going to do that immediately. And I feel like if he gets the fight grounded early in the first round, very high likelihood he's able to get Rodrigo out of there. You know, on top, Mateusz Rebecki, he's got great ground and pound, you know. He's very solid at mixing up his takedowns. He'll go for the double leg takedown. You know, sometimes he'll sneak around to the back and kind of drag his opponents down. But I mean, overall, he's always trying to inflict damage on his opponents. And then on the feet, he's kind of like a wild man on the feet. Striking defense does worry me here. I will say Mateusz Rebecki can be a bit wild on the feet, which is why I think he should grapple here. But yeah, I mean, he does kind of overextend some of his combinations, but I mean, he does have power on the feet. He's got a great body kick from that southpaw stance. He kind of likes to chop at your legs, switch it up to the body, throw that overhand left, land his loop and hooks. But I mean, solid fighter though, 15-1. But I mean, at the same time, you see he's on the Polish regional scene. I don't know what fucking supplements they're giving him over there in Poland, but just keep an eye on the weigh-ins because I don't know if he was on the sauce in Poland. Regardless, though, it seems like a fight that on paper Rebecki is being brought in to win here, which sucks. I mean, I really like Lidio's game. He's a very exciting fighter on the feet, and he has a lot of power in his hands. So I mean, I'm not gonna count out Rodrigo as he does have that one punch knockout opportunity. And I mean, in regards to the odds, I think it's another one of those where Mateusz is minus 235. You know, we got Rodrigo at plus 200. I mean, I get Mateusz Rebecki being the favorite. I mean, he has all of the upside in this fight in regards to winning minutes with the grappling. So, I mean, you got to make him the favorite. I mean, I think I'm going to pick Rebecki by first round ground and pound finish. But at the same time, it's like if I can get a good number on Rodrigo by KO, what was he plus 200? If I can get like 4-1 or higher on the KO prop, there's no reason that I'm not gonna fucking take that because it's like maybe it's a good little hedge opportunity if you want to play Rebecki big and then take Lidio by KO. As I think that's his only path to victory. But I'm not gonna count him out. I'm not gonna go crazy on the Rebecki money line. But fight doesn't go to decision, probably the safer alternative. But yeah, we're gonna go Rebecki by first round ground and pound finish. Tread with caution on that fight. And then we got the next fight. Very good fight here. Proper fight, as some would say. We have Matej Mone Penaz. It's a good ass fucking name. Matej Penaz versus Cedric Dumas. He goes by SD. that boy SD Dumas. And we'll start with Matej Pena. So we got Penaz. He's 6-0 prospect from the Czech Republic. He was I think he spent Octagon. He's been in Octagon for most of his career. Overall, I mean, Matej, kickboxer, solid kickboxing. Honestly, he's a fucking big boy for this weight class, 185. I think it doesn't say here, but I think he's like 6'5". Yeah, 6'5", 185. So he's very long and tall for the middleweight division. But I mean, overall with his striking, I mean, he's a very exciting fighter to watch. Southpaw striker, he's got that good 1-2 straight shots. He's got solid leg kicks, head kick. He likes to mix up his kicks a lot. But I mean, overall, he likes to kind of keep it at his range because he's normally the larger opponent in a lot of his fights, and he likes to kind of keep it at his range. Try to find the KO as it comes. But I mean, overall, I mean, if I were to say little holes in his striking is the striking defense. He does kind of overextend his combinations. He can get a little wild throwing hooks in the pocket. So, I mean, I do worry he's got his toe man defense chin up in the air. So he needs to be careful. But, I mean, offensively, he's a lot to deal with. He's got solid striking. And then his, I guess the knock in his grappling would be like he kind of gets pushed up against the cage. But, I mean, I have seen in watching his tape, he has made a lot of progression in his takedown defense. I'm getting a lot of vibes from our similarities to Nazim Sadikov from a couple weeks ago. Southpaw kickboxer, has been working on that takedown defense. I mean, Penaz, he's solid, very solid fighter. He's got great kickboxing. But yeah, like I said, I worry about him maybe getting pushed up against the cage by opponents and the fact that his kind of chin's up in the air. But I mean, very entertaining fighter. And I mean, he's got a good matchup here. Actually, I don't even want to say good matchup, but on paper, he's fighting SD Dumas, who's on paper is a kickboxer, but as you can see in this fight right here against Highball, he actually showed off his grappling for might have been the first time because I don't think he showed any grappling in his fights prior to that, but yeah, he showed some grappling in his last fight, which is fascinating here because I believe if I'm SD Dumas, I'm maybe looking to get the grappling going early and often. I mean, I have noticed with Matej, he, I mean, he has worked on his takedown defense. He does have solid takedown defense, but sometimes if he does get taken down, he's quick to like kind of turn his back into opponents, and that's obviously not the smartest thing to do in the UFC is to give up your back. But I mean, SD Dumas, he's slick. I mean, you saw in the highball fight, he's really good at taking that back and looking for the rear naked choke. But I mean, I like to think he flows pretty well on top. Does a good job of staying on top and throwing decent ground and pound. But I mean, outside of the highball fight and his fights prior, like I said, there's not really much grappling. This dude looks like a fucking killer on the feet. I mean, obviously, like his striking is still like kind of a work in progress. He's a bit wild at times, kind of like Matej. He kind of can keep his chin out there in combinations, but I mean, I will say he's probably the more defensively responsible fighter of the two. One thing I've noticed with SD Dumas's game is that he likes to be very patient with his knockouts. He doesn't like to rush too much. He kind of, I think they've said in a lot of his fights and commentary that he likes to set it up and not force it. And as you can see, it's been working out a lot in his career. I believe, yeah, he's 5-0. No, he's 6-0. Sorry, 6-0. But I mean, yeah, in his game, I mean, we see he's got a good kicking game. He's very doesn't have the highest output, but I mean, he does a good job of staying active with the leg kicks. He likes to throw a good 1-2. He's very rangy as well. I don't know what the measurables are on him. Yeah, 6'3", 79-inch. So, I mean, these guys actually size up pretty well. Matej is going to be the taller dude, but I mean, I believe reach-wise, it's pretty even. But I mean, yeah, I mean, SD Dumas, he's got a very dynamic kicking game. If you see here in the Whit Dixon fight, knocked him out with a beautiful left high kick and slept him fucking cold. But yeah, I give that a watch back. Great knockout there. But yeah, SD Dumas, solid kicking game. You know, he has a lot of power. Both these dudes have a lot of power in their hands. I expect this to be a fun striking fight if it does play on the feet. But I do want to see SD Dumas. I want to see him grapple here. I really do think that's probably the best way for him to win comfortably is the grappling. But I mean, we've seen him like grapple heavy in his last fight, but that's like the only time we've seen him. So I can't say for certain. I know he's gonna grapple, but he could do that, and maybe he's able to get the back early and get the rear naked chunk while they're dry. And you know, at looking at the odds here at plus 140 Dumas, minus 160 Penaz. I mean, I'm tempted to take the shot on Dumas. I really am. Maybe look to bet him ITD more so trying to snipe that submission number. I think we probably gonna get a really fucking good line on that. Not a lot of confidence with that prop, but I mean, so you got to get lucky sometimes. I'll take Dumas by rear naked choke, but probably going to be the most entertaining fight of the night. Can't wait to see that one. But then that brings us to the main event. And I believe we have the Japanese fighter Yusaku Kinoshita versus Jose Henrique. Okay, so got the welterweight fight here in the main event. And first thing that hops off the page, look at these dudes' age. Doesn't say here for Henrique. It's either 19 or 20. He's 19 in his last LFA fight, which was in May. But yeah, he's a very young fighter. Very interested as to why Dana's bringing in a 19 or 20-year-old fighter in Henrique and a 22-year-old fighter in Kinoshita. I mean, I guarantee you, if one of these dudes wins, he's gonna be like, "Oh, they're too green. Then why the fuck did you bring him on?" But we got fights to predict. And I mean, looking at the tape, I mean, Henrique, very fucking big guy, little string bean for the weight class. But I mean, he's got a lot of height to him. Actually, no, the dude that was 6'5", I said Matej was 6'5". It's Henrique that's 6'5". Matej's tall as fuck too, though. But yeah, this dude, the measurables jumped off the board for me. 6'5", 184. I mean, he's a fucking big boy. I think is this at welterweight? Yeah, I think so. It's weird because it says 184 on Tapology. So that's what he weighed in at his last fight. Yeah, 170. Interesting. I did not catch that till just now. So yeah, this fight's at 170, and Henrique's been fighting at 184. So keep an eye on the weigh-ins because he is a big boy, 6'5", gonna be fighting in the welterweight division. But yeah, Henrique, I mean, he's long. He's decent in the clinch. He's got good clinch knees, you know. Solid. He'll go to some elbows in the clinch too. But I mean, for his size though, I wish he would use his length a bit better. I mean, occasionally you'll see him try to keep a jab out there, but I mean, he's 20 years old. A lot of the tape, he's very fucking green. You know, still got a lot of improvements to make. And as shown in his most recent fight against Pedro Oliveira, you know, it was a split decision. And I mean, the first round, I believe Henrique landed 7 significant strikes and Oliveira landed 10. And that was the round that decided the fight. So, I mean, not good to be seeing this dude land 7 significant strikes in one round. But yeah, in the second round of the Oliveira fight, Oliveira was kind of like beating him up for a little bit, you know. Henrique was struggling with the pressure and power shots coming from, I mean, Oliveira. But I mean, Oliveira didn't land too much clean. Henrique did a good job of hanging in there. And then Oliveira kind of punched himself out. And then in the third round, Henrique was able to drop him early. and then he kind of just coasted to the split decision there. But yeah, close fight. Showed a lot of limitations in his game in the Pedro Oliveira fight. But I mean, the measurables. I mean, he's very tall for the division, and I think if he's able to like give it a couple more years, use his start to develop a jab maybe and a little bit of a range game, this could be a problem. But I mean, right now, I feel like he's got a long ways to go, Henrique. But interesting prospect for Henrique. He's for certain gonna bring a very good fight. He's not much of a grappler, so he's gonna try to keep it on the feet. But I mean, he loves to, I guess you could say, brawl. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna make this an entertaining fight, and he's got a good dance partner too, and Yusaku Kinoshita. And we got the Japanese prospect, 22 years old, fighting out of Japan. I mean, he's a very young fighter in his career as well. But I will say, Yusaku, he's definitely the more polished of the two. Certainly has a lot more power compared to him. I've seen Yusaku, he's knocked out some opponents fucking cold. But you'll see here, and I didn't realize this was ruled a loss. The Samuda fight, he if you watch it back, he does fucking vicious ass knockout because it's in Ryzen, so you're allowed to kick a down opponent. But essentially, he lost by DQ because he grabbed the cage when he dropped. I think he dropped him with maybe like a left hook, but he dropped him, grabbed the cage, and I guess he used the cage for leverage and started stomping on Samuda's head, and he knocked him out cold just with like fucking like soccer kick stomps or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But that shit was fucking hard to watch. I'm surprised they honestly allow you to fucking stomp on your opponent when they're on the ground. But I mean, yeah, it shows a loss on his record, but he knocked him out cold in the streets. That's a fucking win. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's a southpaw striker, has a lot of power in his hands. He likes to kind of close the distance, find that left hand. And, he has a lot of power. I mean, grappling wise, too. I mean, defensively grappling, his grappling's not that good. But I mean, offensively, if he's able to get on top, he's kind of good at staying on top, Solid ground and pound, I will say. Overall, though, he's very young, too, in his game, very green. But I will say, I think Kinoshita has all the skills here to beat Jose Henrique. He's I would say the more sharp fighter, probably the faster of the two, and he has a lot of power here. And considering the fact that Henrique is not really a grappler, which I think is where Kinoshita's holes are, is in his defensive grappling. Henrique is not going to expose those holes, so I feel like Kinoshita has a very favorable matchup here, and I really think he's going to walk down Henrique and find first round knockout on that tall man defense. But yeah, we're gonna go Kinoshita by first round KO. And then we look at the odds here. Yeah, he's minus 175 Kinoshita. Henrique coming in at plus 150. I'm honestly very tempted to go very big on Kinoshita. My only concern, obviously, is like we don't know what the level of competition is like in Japan, but very young fighter too that might be a bit of concern. But I mean, watching the tape, it's hard not to want to go heavy on Kinoshita. Henrique is just way too fucking green for me. Still got a lot of years to develop, so I'm gonna go with Kinoshita by first round knockout. And that brings us to the bet and tips. So I mean, honestly, I'm a little afraid to do parlays here this week. I mean, maybe when we come out with some fight doesn't go to decision, we can cook up some violence parlays, which isn't a bad look. So I mean, we'll start with betting tips with the Bilder Morgan fight. Honestly, I could see that fight going a number of ways. I think it's either probably going to be Bilder ITD or Morgan decision, but then at the same time, Bilder is going to bring the fight to Morgan, which is like Morgan kind of likes to keep it clean, keep it sharp, and Bilder's going to be in his face, forcing him to fight. So it's maybe that'd be a good under spot considering that Morgan's gonna probably have to commit more and throw down. But yeah, Bilder has a lot of submission upside. So if we can get like a decent number on the sub prop, maybe take that. But yeah, I mean, close fight there. And then the Maria Silva Dudakova fight. You would think that it's probably going over because it's a woman's MMA. And honestly, yeah, I mean, Silva's got all the physicality here to win this fight. She should win. But I mean, I really think there's a lot of question marks in her grappling. So I'm going to take the shot on Dudakova and probably going to poke at that submission line too if we can get a nice line. And then the betting tips on the Rebecki Lidio fight. Fight doesn't go to decision is probably by far the safest fight. But yeah, Rebecki by first round KO. I don't know if you're gonna get much value on his props. I mean, I guess maybe we could parlay Rebecki with a fight doesn't go to decision we like or another money line and look to hedge Rodrigo by KO. That's 100% the way to play the fight. And I mean, in regards to who we want to parlay him with, maybe Kinoshita. That'd be a solid parlay. We'll definitely get some nice plus money on that. But I mean, Kinoshita, he's minus 175. I'm curious where this line's gonna move. He opened at minus 200. Some money's coming in on Henrique. We can get like Kinoshita anywhere below like minus 160, minus 150. Probably gonna play that straight, honestly. And I mean, Kinoshita, I mean, maybe by submission. I don't think he's gonna get the submission. I think if anything, he'll probably knock out Henrique. But yeah, keep an eye on some of these props. I mean, I always be chasing these submission props because they always be pricing them egregiously high. I'm bound to hit one of these days, but I don't know if it's gonna be Kinoshita, the one that's gonna hit it for us. Maybe Dudakova does it, but I mean also Dumas by submission as well. Maybe take him, but I mean as a dog, can't hate just playing him straight up as he has a lot of potential to get the KO here. Matej could honestly finish him too. He's probably the cleaner striker. And I mean, fight doesn't go to decision. It's probably obviously the safer play. There's a lot of I think I got fight doesn't go to decision on like all these fights, which never tends to be a good thing. But I mean, I see a lot of violence this weekend. See a lot of dogs barking. Which dogs hit? I don't fucking know. But you know, maybe we only need like 2 or 3 of these dogs to win, and we'll be in the green. And that's gonna be it. I don't know if the video camera fucking turned off, but you know, fuck it, we ball. All right, guys. Peace out, and I'll see y'all next week.